Amersfoort Racing have announced their lineup for the 2025 FIA Formula 3 Championship. A new team a couple of years ago, of course, to this championship, Van Amersfoort Racing, but very quickly developing to it. Now, racing for them in 2025 will be Théophile Naël, Ivan Domingues, and returning Santiago Ramos. Santiago Ramos returning to the championship, but new to Van Amersfoort Racing. So in terms of their Formula 3 team, these are three new drivers. Let's go through them one by one then. Théophile Naël is stepping up from Freca, where he raced with the Santiago Racing team, French driver racing with the French team there. And Théophile Naël did very well racing in Freca last year, developed throughout the season, then got on the top step a little bit later down the line, round 8 at the Red Bull Ring. Started to show real consistency. It looked as if he was going to be staying in that championship, but I think that win was the turning point that saw him eventually go on to make the decision to race in Formula 3 this year. Very, very exciting young talent. Ivan Domingues, flying start in Freca last year. It did tail off slightly, but he did get some podiums, the Portuguese driver. And again, podium visits in a championship like that, as big as it is, always sees a visit up to Formula 3. So Ivan Domingues, who raced with Van Amersfoort last year, going up with them. Santiago Ramos with Trident last year. Didn't quite work out, I think, the way he would have liked to. Some collisions, perhaps. Qualifying was a little bit difficult for him at times, but he is now going to be racing with Van Amersfoort Racing, Santiago Ramos. Let's see how he goes with these guys. They are a growing team within Formula 2 and Formula 3, and there are three hot prospects here in Théophile Naël, Ivan Domingues, and Santiago Ramos, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they work together. Well, that's my thoughts. Let's get the thoughts of Feeder Series F3 Series editor, Daniele Spadi. Daniele, what do you make of this trio?
This is definitely one of the most exciting lineups, in my opinion, for 2025 in the series. VAR has gone winless for the first time since their arrival in F3 in 2022. And so they definitely needed a change of pace, which is why I'm not surprised to see all three drivers being changed. Of course, they will have to rely heavily on the experience of Santiago Ramos, being that the other two drivers are rookies. But of course, with the new car and with perhaps a new look to the championship, they are definitely looking forward to the new season to perhaps make that step forward, to bounce back, kind of like what ART did back in 2024. I think Santiago Ramos definitely has some positives to take from the 2024 season. He was very quick, especially at the start, though maybe consistency wasn't on his side for the entire year. Whereas the other two drivers had possibly the opposite issues in Freca, though Théophile Naël, of course, got that win at the Red Bull Ring in race 2 last year. Whereas, for example, Domingues is still yet to take his first ever win in the single-seater world. So they definitely need to prove themselves to be ready for this step. I think they are. But of course, coming up to F3 from Freca can be challenging because the grid is so stacked. And of course, we have so many talents coming from all over the world. And so this is going to be maybe tough for them. But I really expect VAR to make a step forward in 2025. Their lineup looks great. And if they can get up to speed with the car quickly, I think they could be a dark horse for potential podiums and possibly even race wins. I mean, they've done so in the past. And so I'm really looking forward to their season in 2025.
Yeah, great points there from Daniele. He mentioned Santiago Ramos. He took a pole position, and as Daniele said, he ended very well. Great run of points finishes and a podium at the final round as well. Could he be the dark horse for them, or could it be these Freca drivers who we saw on the podium, and particularly Théophile Naël, who we saw on the top step of the podium towards the end of the season? Is Van Amersfoort Racing the dark horse in FIA Formula 3 for 2025? Or that's the thoughts of myself and Daniele. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.